Ma'am, good evening. Shall we start, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Good evening. Uh, Welcome everyone to this webinar. Puducherry Climate Change Cell has been organizing such webinars for the last 3 4 years. We have been actively conducting this webinars on various topics of climate change and other environmental awareness. So this today's webinar is also one of the key activity of the 75 action points of LiFE mission, which is an initiative by the government of India towards sustainable and climate friendly nation and the planet. So it's a pleasure of Puducherry Climate Change Cell and the Department of Science, Technology and Environment, Government of Puducherry to organize this webinar. So firstly, um, I would like to welcome our Senior Scientific Officer, Dr. Sahai Alfred, from the Department of Science, Technology and Environment. Also welcome Dr. Bhagavati Ammal, Professor and Head from the Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry from Pajan, Goa, Karaikal. She is also the speaker for today's webinar. And most importantly, I welcome all the participants from diverse background who has joined for our webinar today. Um, so as we begin our webinar, I request our Senior Scientific Officer, Dr. Sahai Alfred, to deliver the keynote address. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Balaji. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Oh, thank you very much. So, first of all, it's a great pleasure in welcoming each and every one of you for this webinar on adapting sustainable food systems, a need for transition towards organic farming practices. We navigate through various challenges of rapidly increasing climate change and increasing complex agricultural landscape. And it's important that we all come together to follow sustainable practices as well as paving the way towards a greener and a healthier future which will flourish our nation. And on a similar note, it's a great initiative that the Puducherry Climate Change Cell, which is organizing this webinar on adapting sustainable food systems, a transition towards organic farming practices in the country, India. We all know that we have a rich history of cultural and agricultural heritage. And as a long recognized, significant, harmonious relationship with the land of the country. Our ancestors have well understood, I will say, the sanctity of organic farming. And they respected the delicate balance of nature and reaping the rewards of a bountiful, chemical-free harvest. Such transition towards organic farming practices, we can say it's not a choice. It should be a moral imperative as well as a critical steps towards saving our environment, preserving biodiversity, and ensuring the well-being of all the citizens of our country. By prioritizing organic farming, we can commit to nurturing the health of our soils, protecting the purity of our water resources, and cultivating crops that are free from harmful chemicals and pesticides. And in this Indian context, we all know that agriculture is not just an occupation alone, but a way of life. and its adaptability towards sustainable food systems and organic farming practices. By promoting such sustainable agricultural techniques, we can empower our farmers to become the custodians of the land, stewards of the environment, and they make us the champions of a healthier and more resilient future. This shift towards a sustainable food systems, as well as our nation's commitment towards united sustainable development goals, as well as our vision towards a self-reliant, ecologically sustainable India, will help us to ensure long-term viability of our food systems, promote rural employment, and drive inclusive economic growth. And for this, we all have to come together and let us sow the seeds of change and cultivate a more sustainable, healthier, and prosperous India. Certainly, this seminar is an eye opener for the beginners as well as a sharing of knowledge and skill for the people who have a background knowledge regarding the said subject, and let us work together for a future India which will be more healthier and prosperous. Thank you for the opportunity provided. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Balaji.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for a very good keynote address on the transitioning towards organic farming, especially in the Indian context. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your keynote address. Um, and now, before I ask our speaker for today's session to start her talk, I'll now introduce the speaker to the participants. Um So our speaker today is Dr. Bhagavati Ammal. She is a professor and head of soil sciences and agriculture chemistry in Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru College of Agriculture and Research Institute, Karaikal. She has over 22 years of teaching and research experience and has guided 9 MSc Agri students and has served as advisory committee member for many students of applied disciplines. She has attended several international and national conferences, workshops, symposiums, and training, and has published several research papers in the field of agriculture. She was the principal investigator of Tank Sled project funded by Hartford Foundation, funded by ICAR. She was awarded with a Jawaharlal Nehru Award in the year 2000 by Indian Council of Agriculture Research, and was also awarded with several other prizes like Silver Jubilee Award in the year 2000 and Dr. G.V. Godandaraman Award and Dr. A.N. Puri Prize in the year 2000. Ma'am, it's a pleasure to have you for today's webinar. Over to you, ma'am. You may start your session now.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice introduction. Good evening to all those who joined online. Thank you for the organizers for giving me this opportunity to me. So whatever I know, I'm going to deliver. So the title is the organic farming. So organic farming is not a new to one. So it is a old practice. It was followed by our ancestors for cultivating the crops. Okay. Sir, can you able to see my slides?
Yes, ma'am. You
Okay.
can switch to full screen mode.
Okay, okay. Is it
Presentation.
audible, sir? Is it audible,
Yes.
sir? Hmm.
Yeah, you are clearly audible, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So the title is already it was given by the other members. As an introduction point of this seminar, we all know that in during 1960 the Green Revolution was started in India because of the Bengal famine. To achieve the self-sufficiency and food production, we have started the Green Revolution, and we have also achieved the self-sufficiency in food production, especially cereals, pulses, fruits, and vegetables. Though we have attained the self-sufficiency in food production, now we are facing some problem related to this, because the main problem we are encountered now is there is decline in factor productivity, poor soil health, loss of soil organic carbon, ground and surface water related stresses, increased incidence of pests and diseases, increased cost of input, and decline in farm profits. Okay, so how the soil fertility and health is actually declined means mainly due to the removal or burning of the crop residues. Then during burning, what will happen means most of the carbon is escaped to carbon dioxide, that is to atmosphere. Then because of the less addition of the organic manures, then continuously cultivating the crop, so imbalance either under or over utilization of the fertilizer and pesticides, and due to the movement of heavy weight material, that is equipment, tractor or other things, this will lead to subsoil compaction. Okay, so to increase the population, so there is increased demand for food, fodder, fuel and fiber. It is estimated that by 2025, we are now nearing only 2 more years are here, the record food grain production is 350 million tons grains to feed the population. That we have now, we have overseeded the China's population. So the net cultivated area is only 143 to 144 million hectares. So there is no possibility of extrapolating the area. So the possibility may be improving the soil health and improving the productivity to attain the self-sufficiency. So the major task for the scientist is, one is soil health management, second one is the improving the technology of production. So now we know the some of the fertility status of our Indian soil. Here you can see this. When you take major nutrient, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, so 228 districts in India are low in status. Then phosphorus is 170 districts. Then potassium is 47 districts. Okay. So apart from this, we are also having the deficiency of sulfur, magnesium, zinc, iron, and boron. So among this, the zinc deficiency is more in Indian soils, nearly 50% of the area under zinc deficiency. Then now you can see the food grain production and fertilizer use. Here you can see this. We have increased the food grain production from 1952. That is here you can see this 2010. Now it is 10 years back into the data. Here, now you can see this. In 1915, we have only 50 million tons production. Now we have achieved nearly 240 to 250 million tons. There may be increased usage of the fertilizer also. Among phosphorus and potassium, nitrogen usage was more when compared to phosphorus and potassium. So what we have understood from this graph is the fertilizer will improve the yield by 50%. Then declining fertilizer response. That is we should not think about by increasing the fertilizer dose we can increase the yield. No, it is not at all like that. So everything it is having the that is declining response. For example, you can see this here. This is the response ratio. Response ratio means per kg of NPK, how much kg of grain we are going to harvest. Okay. In 1970, it was 13.4. That is the meaning is, if you are spending 1 kg of NPK, that is 1 kg N, P and K, we are getting 13.4 kg of grain. Now you can see this, it was declined 3.7. Now it was still declined. It is around 2.5. So what may be the reason for this means, even though we can increase the fertilizer dose, but the soil is unable to give proper response for the added fertilizer. Why means there may be decline in soil health. Okay. So here also you can see this, how the decline was obtained. Here, this line indicates the fertilizer added. We have increased the fertilizer dose from 1970 to 2005. Here you can see this. So the response is actually, it is going on decreasing. So now we can see this. What are the nutrient deficiency which is occur? 1915 in Indian soils we encountered only nitrogen deficiency. 1960 iron. 1970 it was added with the phosphorus, zinc, potassium. Then sulfur, manganese. Then boron. Actually we are thinking what may be the next element to become nutrient deficiency. Then nutrient status means Indian soils are very poor in nitrogen and phosphorus, with 89 and 80% of the soil samples are having low to medium category. Relatively, potassium is actually only 50% of the samples are under low to medium. Here you can see this graph. So here you can see this nitrogen 63% low category, then phosphorus 42%. Here you can see this potassium is 13%. Why there is high in potassium status means most of the soil minerals containing potassium. So the potassium content of our Indian soils are naturally high. Then coming to micro and secondary nutrients, the deficiency level, you can see this. Sulfur is 41% deficient, zinc is 49. That's why I told 50% of our Indian soil samples are deficient in zinc. Copper only 3%. Then sulfur deficiency also you can see this. So mostly 24% only under higher category, remaining is low and medium category. Then again here you can see this Maharashtra, you can expect that 86% of the area under zinc deficiency. Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. So mostly you can see this 50 to 60% of the area under zinc deficiency. Here you can see the boron deficiency. So here now we are going to see about the fertilizer consumption ratio. What may be the ideal fertilizer consumption ratio? 4 is to 2 is to 1. That is 4 part of nitrogen, phosphorus, 2 part of phosphorus and 1 part of potassium. Here you can see this how the ratio is varying. So here 5.9, 7, 6.7. There only any change in potassium. Only changes occur, major change occur in nitrogen, minor change occur in phosphorus. What may be the reason? That is, the farmers are getting subsidy for the nitrogen fertilizer. They are adding more nitrogen than phosphorus and potassium, which leads to imbalanced nutrient addition to the crop. That also leads to deterioration of soil health. Here you can see this. When you are applying 100% of nitrogen in terms of urea, the efficiency is only 30 to 50%. So what may be the what happened to another 50%? It may lead to several losses like immobilization, volatilization, denitrification, leaching. And phosphorus, only 15 to 20% applied fertilizer phosphorus is used by the crop. Remaining is fixed in the soil as iron phosphate, aluminum phosphate, and calcium phosphate. Then potassium use efficiency is more, 70 to 80%. So the most loss is the fixation in the clay. Same way, sulfur 8 to 10%. You can see micronutrient usage is only 1 to 2%. Then projected food grain production and fertilizer demand. Okay, here you can see this. Our fertilizer food grain production. Here you can see this how much 350 million tons in 2025. 350 million tons. Demand is you can see almost similar to this, but consumption here you can see this 250 million tons. So this is the gap between the production and fertilizer demand. So why there is a deficiency of micronutrient means you can say when you compare the sample of all over the India. So there is one project which was funded by ICAR, that is micronutrient research. They have collected several samples covering the area under India, east, north, south and west. So here you can see this. There won't be any much difference in the case of deficiency. For example, 1980 to 2008, manganese deficiency 5.1. Now it is increased to 5.5. So the copper deficiency, there won't be much difference. But there may be because of continuous application. Now we are recommending in the crop production guide itself that is 25 kg zinc sulfate along with the basal dose. So there may be somewhat the deficiency is decreased because of the continuous addition of the zinc sulfate. Then, declining in crop response to fertilizer. In the fifth plan, the response ratio is 15 kg. Here you can see this 11th plan, it is only 6 kg. Okay. So, what may be the reason for this? Inadequate and imbalanced fertilizer use, increasing multinutrient deficiency. So, lack of farmers' awareness about the balanced plant nutrition, lack of varietal breakthrough, and poor crop management. Then, trends in nutrient use from various sources in Indian agriculture. Here you can see this. The fertilizer sources may be the major source when compared to all other sources. The same time, the losses also occur in the soil. Then impact of agriculture on environment. If you are burning the crop residues, what will happen? So it will pollute the atmosphere, the first one. Then apart from this, if you are that is more application of fertilizer, which leads to that is polluting the groundwater. So irrigation water get polluted, that is groundwater contamination, then water logging, then it will develop the salinity. Then apart from this, it will also changes the local climatic conditions. So fertilizer, what may be the pollutant sources? Nitrate and phosphate. As all you had that is eutrophication. Eutrophication means accumulation of nitrogen and phosphorus in groundwater. So apart from this, the pesticide usage, then agricultural waste, all these are the main impact on the environment. Then threats of imbalanced nutrient uses, greenhouse that is affect soil quality is deteriorating, then air quality is that is disturbed. So these are all the major threat in the ecosystem and biodiversity because of the more usage of the fertilizer. So consumption of fertilizer in several parts of the India is, you can see this. So major share of fertilizer is actually only nitrogen. Here you can see this 59% consumption is in nitrogen, 29% phosphorus, and 12% is potassium. So in among the 59% of nitrogen, the major share was urea. 78% of nitrogen through urea, only 21% through the that is compound fertilizer, that is DAP, and 1% through the ammonium sulfate. So fertilizer management issues are, what are the management issues? That is because of the low efficiency and the leakage, increasing environmental pollution and the global warming, reducing the productivity and the ecosystem surveys, increasing the cost and decreasing the income. So because of this, it develops the uncertainty in yield level. Now we can compare why there is need of organic farming. What may be the reason for this means the foremost important thing is the decline in soil fertility. The first one, that is, if you are applying huge quantity of fertilizer, even though the high yield can be produced, but it will actually decreasing the natural fertility of the soil. First one. Second one, nitrate runoff means if the crop is fed with the more quantity of nitrogen fertilizer, the nitrate is actually leached to groundwater. It is creating the pollution. Then soil erosion. So because of the repeated deep plowing, so the top soil will move from one place to another. Then compaction, because of the heavy load traffic, that is if you are using heavy weight equipment to the field means that will cause us the compaction. What is the effect of compaction? Nothing is no water is actually entered to the deeper layer, so mostly it will leads to the runoff and erosion. Here you can see this single tractor, if it is passed through one time means it will create the compact 70 percentage. Then mostly most of the material which is produced in the agriculture lands or which is used for the fuel purpose. Then apart from this, what are the impact on this means use of the pesticide. Then most of the animals, now we are not at all rearing any animals. Then mostly if we are growing the cattle means we are feeding the material with that is imported animal feed. Then apart from this, stubble burning, then which will creating the loss of cultivated biodiversity. Apart from this, introduction of more high yielding varieties which require more amount of fertilizer. Okay, so then habitat destruction. Now we are not at all cultivating any wild varieties. Okay, so because they are all very low yielders. So now only we are propagating so many rice varieties like Maplai Chamba, then Karungurvi. All these are now we are cultivating, which fetches more value also. Now the people have turned to that is wild rice varieties, which is used for curing many diseases. Okay, because most of the material or food are contaminated with pesticides and all other things. Then apart from this, the main important is threatening of the food security. Now we are actually, there may be no chain between the farmer and the consumer. Always the middleman decides what is the crop the farmer has to grow. Then because why the farmer is going along with him means he needs to sell his product, because there is no proper marketing facilities for this. Because in Pondicherry also, in that is in area like Karikalampakam, Marachikuppam. In many places, we have conducted many trials in our fertilizer trial. So, if we want to change the crop, if we talk with farmer means, certainly he won't accept. So he is hesitate to change the cropping pattern. Then we asked what may be the reason for this means he immediately told, okay, I will switch over to bendi or brinjal or any other crop. Okay, so where is the marketing facilities? He is immediately asking where is the marketing facility. So the middleman, he is going to decide what is the crop has to be grown by the particular farmer. Then the real question is, what does the farmer look for? Actually, he want money. So because that is the main occupation for him. So if it is a side business means there won't be any problem. Here main income for the farmer is from his field. So definitely he is expecting more yield from his field. Okay. Then here you can see this. So he is expecting, he wants more money with the less headache. Okay. Then now, so because considering all these factors, now we are switch over to the title is organic farming. So organic farming system in India is not a new one. It is a age-old practice. Our ancestors are followed this type of organic farming only. So it is a method of farming system. Main part is to keep the soil alive, that is in good health condition. Then what are the things we are going to use? Whatever the things, organic waste, crop residues, animal residues, farm waste, aquatic waste, all the things including biofertilizers, we can use this for getting the sustainable production with a less polluting free environment. According to USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, they have defined organic farming is a system which avoids or largely excludes the use of the synthetic input like fertilizer, pesticides, hormones, and feed additives. According to Food and Agriculture Organization, they have defined organic agriculture is the unique production management system. So it will include the biodiversity, biological cycle, and soil biological activity. Then here you can see this. These are all the components of organic farming: vermicompost, green leaf manure, crop rotation, biological management, animal husbandry, biofertilizer, and manures. So, what is the need of organic farming? With increase in population, it is our compulsion. They are using more amount of fertilizer to attain the self-sufficiency. Now the scientists, they have realized green revolution with a high input use has reached a plateau and now sustained with a diminishing return of falling dividends. Thus, a natural balance needs to be maintained at all costs for existence of life and property. So now we are going to do the organic farming. Then, what are the key characters of organic farming? First one is the protecting the long-term fertility of the soil. Second point, so it is actually having the nutrient relatively insoluble nutrient. It won't release the nutrient immediately like synthetic fertilizer. Then, third one is the use of legume and biological nitrogen fixation for nitrogen requirement. Then we can go for natural weed and pest control. Then we can go for crop rotation. Okay. So apart from this, we have to maintain the livestock also to get the organic manure. Then, principles of organic farming is health, ecology, fairness, and care. So, here you can see what do you mean by health? So, healthy soil will produce healthy crops. Okay. So, it is not at all mean that illness. Illness, it is not right. So, we have to maintain the proper physical, mental, and social and ecological well being. So, whatever the material which is produced in the soil should have high quality nutritious food, and it also prevent in the health care. So we can avoid the use of fertilizer, pesticides, and animal drugs and food additives. So this will actually maintaining the health. First. Second one, ecology. What do you mean by ecology? Organic agriculture should be based on the living ecological system. That is, it will organic agriculture is within the living ecological system, because it is actually go along with the ecological process. Because for example, for the crop, the soil is the living one. For animals, it is actually giving feed to the animals. For fish and marine organism, it is an aquatic environment. Okay, so they can reuse, recycle, and efficient management of all this material to get the improved quality food for our health point of view. Okay. Then apart from this, what do you mean by fairness? So the fairness means we have to maintain the fairness between the farmers, workers, processors, distributors, traders, and consumers. The meaning is we have to maintaining the cordiality with all the people. That is called as the principle of fairness. Then, principle of care means organic agriculture, which will give the good quality food. So, we have to have some precautions and responsibility for its management. For example, science is also necessary for this, but however, scientific knowledge alone is not sufficient. Practical experience, accumulated wisdom, and traditional and indigenous knowledge, which will have some idea, that should be tested by time to time. Suppose if you are going to the, even though we are having more amount of theoretical knowledge, if you speak with the farmer means he will tell all the practical implications about the soil. So he know when the time to start the that is sowing, how to harvest. Okay, all the practical knowledge he is having. So we have to give proper weightage to him. That is very important. Then, basic steps of organic farming. So, we are going to follow five basic principles. First one is the conversion of land from conventional management to organic management. First. Second one, management of entire surrounding system. So that is very important. Third one is the crop production with the use of alternative use of nutrients such as crop rotation, residue management, organic manure addition, and biological input. So the next one is the management of weed and pest by proper management like biological control system. fifth point is very important point. We have to maintain the proper livestock population. These are all the basic steps of organic farming. Then, what do you mean by crop rotation? For example, in the first season, if you are going the rice crop, then second season cotton means the third we have to definitely we have to go for pulses. So, what is the need for pulses? Legume. The legume will fix us the nitrogen fixation, that is biological nitrogen fixation. That nitrogen is added to the soil. It will improve the soil health. So, in general, what are the crop rotation followed here is non-leguminous crop should be followed with the leguminous crops. For example, if the first season we are raising wheat or maize means, second season definitely we have to go for green gram. So that only our ancestors having the cropping pattern is rice, pulse. Okay, if the first crop is the legume crop or non-legume crop means accordingly you can change the cropping pattern. Then the third one is the definitely in each and every third or second crops should be that is legume crop. Then you can select the crop that is high leaf shedding crop, then you can add a more amount of organic matter. Then you can go for green manure crop like daincha. Okay, then apart from this can also go for some of the perennial crops, then fodder crops. Okay, then multi-cut crops, red tune crops, then cleaning of crops. Cleaning crops means after the harvest of the potato or turmeric or beetroot or carrot, you can go for any one of the that is vegetable crop, or you can go for deep rooted crop like cotton, then deep tillage crop like potato, radish. So or dicotyledon, we are having two type of crop, monocotyledon and dicotyledon. Okay, so the dicotyledon means it absorb more amount of nutrient from the soil. Okay, then what is the difference between conventional and organic farming? So difference between organic and synthetic fertilizer is, first one is the in the case of organic fertilizer, what are the main advantage means? So first one is the rate of release is actually it is slowly releasing the material. Because of this, the losses also minimized. Okay. Then apart from this, the disadvantages of this organic fertilizer is the availability is the problem. Then some when you compare the price, when you compare the price of urea and organic fertilizer, it was somewhat expensive. Okay, then apart from this, low nutrient content. For example, if you take urea means it have 46 percentage of nitrogen. Then if you take nutrient content in farmyard manure means it is having only 1 percentage of nitrogen. Okay, then for that purpose, suppose if the cattle population is not available, we are telling that application of farmyard manure 12.5 tons of per hectare or any other organic manure. Okay, right. So if the farmer is unable to get the farmyard manure, but he has to apply the organic manure in his field means he can go for composting techniques. Composting means it is a natural process of decomposing the material. So whatever the material, crop residue, animal waste, food garbage material, municipal waste, industrial waste, all the materials are composted by using the different type of that is microorganism. Then it is added to the soil means it will also add the nutrients. So for the composting material, we have to former trenches of size, that is length is 4.5 to 5 meter, then wide that is 1.5 to 2 meter, then depth is 1 to 2 meter. So this is a standard size, because this standard size means we can easily manage the material. That is the, because the churning should be given for 1 week to 10 days time. Okay, so if it is a big size one means the uniform churning is not possible, so we can select this type of dimension. So every farm waste you can place it. So our ancestors are having these type of the trenches in their field itself. They can add all the material. In Tamil, it is called as urakundu. That is actually they will all add all the material with some amount of farmyard manure. Within 2 months, all the things is ready. Then it is applied to the field. Okay. So each layer. So cow dung is actually having it is called as the microbial consortium, which is having more amount of microbial population. So if you add a farmyard manure, it will, that is, decompose the material. Then, so it can maintain particular height, 0.5 meter height above the ground level. Then the compost will be ready within, that is, 5 to 6 months. Okay. For example, one tabular column, you can see this dung and urine produced by animals per day. Urine, that is kg live weight, quantity of dung. So more amount of dung means it will actually add more amount of nutrients to the soil. Okay. Then nutritive value of animals and the liquid excreta. Here you can see this dung is having, that is per gram of dung, milligram of nitrogen is 20 to 45. So if we add this material means it will also add nutritive value to the soil. Then that is one thing. Next, vermicompost. We can go for vermicompost. So this is the earthworm which is live in the soil. That is useful for the decomposing material. We are having different type of earthworm: African earthworm, then red earthworm, and another one is the composting worm. Okay, so all the worms can be mixed for vermicompost production. Here, the African earthworm is preferred over the other two types because it produces higher amount of vermicompost within a short period. Okay. Then, so for this, we have to give some pre-digested material to the earthworm. Then it should be mixed with the cow dung. Then we can do this composting even in the tub or silpaulin or any other places, but it should be in shaded place. Okay. So we have to maintain the proper moisture content 60%. So the material selected is, you can select the area. You should not have up and down. So uniform size should be followed. Then here you can see this. So this is the African earthworm, then tiger worm and Asian worm. This is actually preferred. It is young one. So within a shorter period, it will develop more amount of vermicast. Okay. Then next one is the coir waste. Here you can see this. This is the raw coir material. This is after composting. So it is composted by pleurotus and urea. Like this way, we can compost sugarcane trash and crop residues. Then next one is the green manure crop. So this is Crotalaria, Sesbania. Then these are all the green manure crop which fixes more amount of nitrogen. So, but it should cut before it form the wood. Okay, so we have to cut the crop, that is at the age of 60 days. After that means it will become woody. So it will take longer time for decomposition. Okay, here you can see this. So it will add the amount of nutrient. Here you can see this sunhemp, daincha and sesbania. So more amount of nitrogen is added through daincha. Okay. Suppose if the soil is not fit for cultivation means the first recommended crop is you can go for green manure crop. Then after that you can plow the field with this green manure crop at the day of 50th day. So certainly it will increase the nutritive status or health condition of the soil. Suppose that is, if I am unable to grow the green manure crop in my field means you can go for green leaf manure like cassia, then sesbania, then calotropis, pungamia. All the crops are available plenty in our area. We have to cut the material and we have to that is transport the material to our field, plow the field with this type of crop. It will also add more amount of nutrients to the soil. Okay. Then apart from this, manures, farmyard manure, then that is oil cake. Oil cake means after the extraction of oil, we are getting this cake which contain more amount of nutrient when compared to farmyard manure. Farmyard manure is considered to be, that is, bulky organic manure. A neem cake, oil cake are considered to be concentrated organic manure. Concentrated means it will supply more amount of nutrients. Then biofertilizer. Biofertilizer is now it is ready to use with all the formulations. Now it is readily available. For example, apart from this packet condition, now we are having even liquid biofertilizer also. Here you can see this. This is the root nodule that is presented, which will fixes more amount of nitrogen. Apart from this, we are having in Pusa, Rhizobium inoculant, then Pusa microbial inoculant. All these are now available for the application. Then what type of biofertilizers are available means for nitrogen, we can go for Rhizobium for legume crops. Then non-legume crop like rice means we can go for Acetobacter and Azospirillum. For sugarcane, Acetobacter. Then blue-green algae. For paddy, we can go for Azolla. Then for phosphorus, we can go for phosphobacteria and arbuscular fungi. Then apart from this, to digest the cellulose material means you can go for cellulolytic fungi. Then these are all the example for liquid biofertilizer. Now it is available in the market. Then contribution of this biofertilizer in crop production, you can see this. The yield increase may be nearly 20 to 25% of yield increase due to the application of this biofertilizer, especially in rice, then most of the cereal crops. Then already I told that the phosphorus use efficiency is only 20%. To increase the phosphorus use efficiency, we can add with phosphobacteria or VAM. The VAM, what is the function of this VAM is which will mobilize the phosphorus present in the soil, because phosphorus is immobile in the soil. Then in the paddy field, we can go for Azolla. Then apart from this, now we are trying for more amount of, that is Panchakavya. So the Panch means 5. The ingredients are here. You can see this. First one is the farmyard manure, cow dung, then cow urine, ghee, milk, water, then curd, jaggery, then tender coconut, and puvan banana. These are all the ingredients. Here you can see this. This will play the potential role in the plant system. So what is the requirement means? You can take, for example, one recommendation they have given, that is cow dung, you can take 7 kg, cow ghee 1 kg. So we can mix these two ingredients thoroughly, both in morning and evening hours, and keep it for 3 days. Okay. So you can close the material and mix it and close the material. Then after this, you can add cow urine 10 liters, water 10 liters after 3 days. Okay, so you can mix it and keep it for 15 days with regular mixing. After 15 days, you can add the material, that is cow milk 3 liters, cow curd 2 liters, tender coconut, jaggery, and puvan banana. Puvan banana is the best source because it is having more, that is acidic nature when compared to all other banana. Okay, now it is ready for the application. And then now we are recommending dasakavya. Dasakavya means, dasa means 10. So we can use this type of extract, that is tumbai, then lantana, then this is umate, datura metal, calotropis, then this is that is karunerinji, this one, then pungam, tetrofa, aditoda, then neem. You can mix it with cow material, that is called as a tasagavya. How it is mixed means the plant extracts are prepared by soaking this material, then cow urine in 1:1 ratio. So that is, just one is we have to chop the leaves. Okay, we have to chop the leaves 1 kg, and it should be soaked in 1 liter of cow urine. So you can keep it for 10 days. Then you can filter the extractant, then added with 1 liter at the rate of 1 liter for, that is 5 liters of panchagavya for better that is result. You can mix it with the Panchakavya solution. Then you can keep it for 25 days. Then you can apply to the field. So how we can spray means we can go for 3% concentration. So before going for spraying, first we have to filter the material. Otherwise, it will actually clog the nozzle of the sprayer. Okay, so that is very important. So weekly spraying is actually recommended for vegetables and especially for plantation crops. Then Jeevamritam. Jeevamritam means the ingredients are water, cow dung, cow urine, jaggery, then pulse flow, and any one of the soil, forest soil or farm soil. Okay. Here we are taking, first you have to take 200 ml of water in a barrel. Then you can add one by one as given earlier. Then after adding this material, you can stir it well. Then you have to cover the barrel with any one of the gunny bag. Then you can every time, morning and evening, you can stir the material. Then it should be used within 7 days. The dosage is 200 liters per acre. Now we are recommending egg amino acid. That is, you can take egg 10 numbers, lime 20 numbers, jaggery 250 grams. Preparation is, first you place the eggs in the tight container. Then you can add 20 ml of lime juice. Then keep it for 10 days. After 10 days, you can crush the material. Then add jaggery. Then you can close again tightly, allow it for 10 days. Okay, after that, you can add this material, that is 1 to 10 ml, 1 to 2 ml in water for paddy and all other crops, or it can be mixed with the Panchakavya, vermi wash for better results. Then fish amino acid, fish waste 1 kg, native jaggery 1 kg, then water. These are the tentative amount, but based on the availability, we can increase the level. So preparation is, you can take the fish pieces, then jaggery powder, then mix it well for and allow it for 2 weeks, then filter and use. Okay, so the dosage is 3 to 5% in water as spray during the that is any one of the crop, or during the morning time or in the evening time. Then we have discussed about so many things about it, that is organic manure, which type of organic manure, why we are going for organic manure. Okay, all these things are okay. Now we are having one big question in our mind. How we can, in some of the that is mall, for example, any one of the big mall means, we can see some of the material like tomato or organically produced, okay, which fetches more value also. But we doesn't know anything about whether it is produced by using inorganic or organic. By appearance, there won't be any much difference. Okay, so, to prevent this small practice, now the agency is available to give the organic certification. That is, according to this, in Tamil Nadu Organic Certification Department. So, it will create, the main aim of this is means to achieve the sustainable productivity without the use of any artificial external input such as agrochemicals, fertilizers, and pesticides. Okay, so it was established in the year 2007 to carry out the inspection and certification of organic production system in accordance with NPOP, that is National Program for Organic Production. Okay, which was launched by the Government of India in the year 2000, and it was notified in the Gazette in 2001 under the Foreign Trade and Development Act. Okay, so this Tamil Nadu Organic Certification Department is carrying out the certification of agricultural organic crop production, processing, and trade under National Program for Organic Production. So, this agency is accredited by APIDA, that is Agricultural and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, New Delhi, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. So these are all the different agency which is available for organic certification. Then Okay, thank you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for the organizers. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sirs.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You started off with a lot of technical and scientific inputs, but you presented it in a way that everyone will understand. And you gave a lot of insights on sustainable farming practices like organic farming, crop rotation, and also you gave a lot of insights on how every common man could prepare some organic fertilizers themselves and then other sustainable farming practices. Thank you so much. Now I request Ms. Santalashmi to deliver. So before that, I would like to ask if the participants would like to take up any questions with ma'am. I see a lot of participants from different backgrounds.
Yes, sir.
Professors are there. So if someone has some query,
Different organic menus means it will take longer time for discussion, sir. So I have cut short everything. Only the crisp points I have actually presented.
okay, ma'am, not an issue at all.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So if participants, if you have some queries, you can discuss with ma'am. Okay. So if there are no queries, then we will wind off our webinar. So for that, I request Ms. Shantalakshmi to deliver the vote of thanks for this webinar.
Thank you, Balaji. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, all. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the participants for joining in the webinar. Special thanks to our speaker, Dr. Bhagwati Ammal, ma'am, for sharing her expertise and knowledge in soil science and the transition towards organic farming. Thank you, ma'am. We value your time and effort in delivering this webinar, ma'am. Also, we thank our department senior scientific officer for delivering his keynote address. And I also thank our department director for his support and encouragement in organizing this webinar. Once again, I thank all the participants for participating towards today's webinar and request your participation and supporting in the upcoming webinars also. So thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks for
Thank you,
joining.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.